Success is a trap that make many abandon their spirituality. The trap of success. Take note of two things. Spirituality is easy to uphold in adversity, but spirituality is also easy to discard in prosperity. Spirituality is easy to uphold in adversity, and spirituality is easy to discard in prosperity. That is why some rich people think that it is poor people that have the need for God and the need for church. Second thing to note is close to the first, that most people remember to pray in times of challenge, but forget to pray in times of success. They are closely related. Most people remember to pray. Prayer is easy in times of challenge, but most forget to pray in times of success. Look at very, very easy. They brought the news to you that they have taken your name to a herbalist or a native doctor or a witch doctor. And they kept on sending some text message or messages to you bordering on threat to life. That's just, look at that simple example. It just puts you on a fasting and a prayer. And you are going to contact the pastor and you are going to do this and that. And your prayer life will increase until the threat fades away. And you sink back to normal. That is just some example that bother to even those who are Christians. The person who exemplifies this position the most in scripture is the prodigal son. The prodigal son remained with his father when he didn't have his property, his portion. Luke chapter 15 verse 11 all the way to verse 18. Time will fail me to read it. The certain man who had two sons, and the younger one says, give me the portion of good that falleth to me, and he divided to them his living. And then after many days, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country. For as long as he did not have the good that belonged to him, he was with his father. Many of us are with the father when we don't have possession yet. Many of us are with the father when we don't have money yet. When we don't have possession yet. When we don't have position yet. When we don't have visa to travel yet. Many of us are with the father when we have not become qualified professionals yet. But by the time this young man got his possession, it took him away from the father. The Bible said he went into a far country. Many people who used to be firebrand in the university are far from God today. Many people who used to be ahead of a certain chief executive, I won't mention a name in this country, big man in this country, a certain level, that I heard that during the university days he was the prayer band coordinator of his campus fellowship. If I mention the name today, you'll be shocked at where that man is right now in terms of the realm and scheme of things. When there was no money, no possession, he was with the father. And this prodigal son's father typifies the heavenly father. But when he got his goods, He went far from the father. But it gets interesting. When the money finished, he returned back. There are people you will never see in church. You know, I used to see some people once in a while. He used to be the former so-and-so big in the country. He used to be former so-and-so. They are looking for appointment to be prayed or something. I ask myself once in a while, I say, when you are in that position, why didn't you look for God? Why didn't you look for God? Why didn't anybody hear that you branch church? That is it. It's called the trap of success. The trap of success. That made people, who is God? I mean, one woman came to me with her husband. And she said, excuse me, sir, please talk to my husband. Don't worry, sit down. I said, what is it? He said he used to be prayerful before. He used to wake up in the midnight to pray. But he doesn't pray now. You won't believe what the man told me with his mouth. I said, why? Your wife is complaining. He said, yes. Those times things used to be very hard. Not another person told me with his mouth. He said things used to be very hard. But things have become better. And Jehovah heard it. God heard it. Things have become better. I said, you know what? You are at risk now the most. That you think things are better. That you think things are better. You are at risk now the most. If there is any time to pray, it is now. I mean, the prodigal son is typical of disconnection from spirituality because of prosperity and reconnection to spirituality because of adversity. Solomon was another example. Solomon knew God. He was passionate for God. In 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 5 to verse 11, verse 5, 4, right, verse 3, all the way. Solomon loved the Lord. He walked in the statutes of the Lord. He offered 1,000 burnt offerings. And then God appeared to Solomon, and Solomon said, I don't know how to go in or out. I need your help to do your will and to do your work. That is the summary. And God gave Solomon the wisdom. When Solomon was small in his own eyes, he was a little boy. He said, I don't know how to go out. I don't know how to come in. I don't even know anything. Then suddenly Solomon became wealthy. Solomon became rich. And then Solomon began to marry wives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 100, 101, 102, 200, 201, 203, 300, 301, 302, 400, 401, 403, 500, 501, 600, 601, 600, 700. Ola. As if something was pursuing Solomon. Solo. But the worst part of it is yet to come. The worst part of it is 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 3 to verse 6. That is worse than marrying so many wives. This is worse. And he had 700 wives, princesses, which means the daughter of the king of Egypt, the daughter of the king of Ammon, the daughter of the king of Moab, the daughter of the king of... And 300 concubines. That is, the 700 wives are separate from 300 girlfriends. The 700 are official. That is, marriage ceremony happened. But that is not what it was. Please keep reading. Look at what it was. For it came to pass when Solomon was old, this same boy that loved the Lord offered 1,000 burnt offerings, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect to the Lord his God, as was the heart of David, his father. Mind you, David also had some feminine problem. But his own didn't reach the level of Solomon. Neither did his own reach the level where his heart went from God to other gods. So, for Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians. He began to look for that god and bow for it. And after Milcom, the Bible calls it the abomination of the Ammonites, he went to serve them. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his servant. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not only did Solomon marry these wives, nobody forced Solomon to serve those gods. Nobody. He went after them. They didn't come after. He went after them. Then Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. He was building temples for them. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. How many temples did Solomon build for God? 1. How many wives did Solomon marry? 700. How many temples did he build for the wives? 700. How far can a person go from God because of money? I remember a man. He used to be a very, very dedicated usher in his church. Suddenly God lifted him up. He became very, very important, wealthy, billionaire. Had private jets, had everything. He was disconnected from his spiritual father, whom I know and whom you know, but I will not mention name. Great, great man of God. Anytime this man of God was, he would be there to carry his bag, usher him personally. This man went so far from God until he became so occultic that he told his wife, he wanted to kill his wife. He told his wife, please, can you agree to die? I will give you half of my wealth if only you will agree to die. So the woman looked at her and said, so if you give me half of the wealth, what will I do with it when I have died? What will a dead person do with money? The occultic, because the devil does not have good gifts. That money didn't go anywhere. After a while, everything crashed to zero. Somebody told me he saw him and almost shed tears when he saw him struggling to enter economy class in a plane. The owner of planes, owner of billions, he died like a chicken. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Are you hearing what I'm saying here today? You see, I want to encourage you today. My wife is my witness. She knew me from university days. The days of very, very rugged spirituality. There's a man in this church who said he wants to come and give his testimony here on this altar one day about what he knew of me from the university. Where we used to go and pray. He said they used to detect when they are coming. They knew the kind of tongue people are speaking. So they will listen carefully. If it is Brother Paul who is tonguing, don't go there, because if you go there, you'll be there for too long. He said, she knew me then and she knows me now. I can travel anyhow I want by God's mercy today. Whether I want to travel by keke napep, tricycle, motorcycle, or by plane, or by any means. I can live anywhere I want today by virtue of his mercy. That is, I want to live anywhere in the world. It's possible. Officially, not going like corner. That is to reside is possible. But that has not. Yesterday she came to me to the room and met me in deep worship, lost. The fire, the passion, the yearning, the prayer, the tonguing. I fasted more in ministry than I was fasting before I entered ministry. The further we went, the more intense the exercise. And I'm not saying this to brag. But how would you have examples without principles? How would you have principles without examples? I have two counsel on this note. On the issue of the trap of success. The trap of success. Number one. Relate with God based on who he is and not what he does for you. Let him be your God, not because he can give you a car. Let him be your God, not because he can give you a house. Relate with God, not based on who he is. Not based on who he is, not what he does. Daniel 3 and in verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, O King Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If so be our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O King. But if not, let it be known to you, nothing will change our position with God or convince us to bow to your God. There is nothing God does or does not do that changes his godness in our life. His godness and goodness. Nothing he does or does not do changes anything. Relate with God based on that. So that you can be stable in prosperity. You can be stable when there is plenty money. And you are still stable when it looks like things are not the way you expect them to be. You are still stable. Secondly, enter into a covenant relationship of no return with God. The covenant relationship